Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. But like, yeah.
You probably did, and I just didn't even. Wait, so can I like look at it while that probably
Yeah.
might.
Yeah. If you want
Oh
to.
my God. Okay. I'm
Um,
like uploading a video to YouTube on Zoom. Like my computer's like not not having it, but
so we are officially live. But the way that I do these is so like we film them live. That way, if like people ask questions, normally like throughout, we'll just kind of chat. At the end, we'll do questions. That way, people can come in and do that, and then I like unlist the video, and then I upload it like a couple weeks later as an edited thing. And sometimes I cut out chunks for social media too, and then I also upload as a podcast on my podcast. So
that's awesome. That's great that you have a podcast as well. It's really cool.
yeah, it's fun. Like originally, this was just like exclusively on YouTube, and it was everyone was like, "Why don't you just upload the audio as a podcast?" Because it was literally just a podcast, right?
Right. It's like easy to do. And it's like another platform.
All right. So we got some people trickling in. If you're watching, let
I'm
us
sorry.
know.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. Let us know in the chat how the audio is. Also, just say like, hey, where you're from. Let us know. Because I'm probably gonna. Could you like just say a few words? I'm trying to balance our levels.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Check.
I'm like, thanks for having me.
I think. Check. It's Andrew. Blah blah blah.
Check.
All right. I think we're roughly balanced, but yeah, everyone watching, let us know if I'm like too loud, or if I'm too quiet, or if she's too loud, she's too quiet. MicTech Shooter audio sounds great. Fantastic.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, and I got my recording going. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up. Haven't done one of these interviews in a couple months, so my A game is not it's not on.
No worries. Don't worry at all.
So, hold on. I'm just gonna pull up your TikTok one last thing so I can reference it in the video if we need to. How long have you been doing music, by the way?
I've been doing it for a very long time. Probably an embarrassingly long amount of time, but I went to school for music, and I've been doing it before. I basically started writing when I was about 15, and then I didn't release music officially until 2015. So I was about like a sophomore or junior in college. That's when I started taking it actually seriously. But I have a music degree or whatever, so I did start taking it seriously at that time.
Nice. So a good amount of time then. I've been doing it since I was 12, and I'm 30 now. So it's been like 18 years, which is just makes me want to vomit everywhere.
I know, same. I know, I'm like 28 now, and I started like piano at like 6 or whatever. So if we want to get like real, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's like kind of funny to like look at where I am.
Like you think like, wow, I've been doing this for longer than like I've been doing this for most of my life, and you know, people have been born and have come to the age where they can vote in the period of time of making music, and for you, if you count it since back to 6, it's the same.
Aging is such a weird thing.
Yeah, I know. It's and every time I say that to someone who's like 40 or 50, they're like, shut up.
I know. We probably sound really annoying right now.
Yeah, I know. All right, so we got some peeps in the chat. So MicTech said audio sounds great. Ale, what's up, guys? Brooklyn here, sound is good. And Spike Young, hi. Paris, France here, haha. Nice. We got got Brooklyn,
hello.
We got Paris. We're officially international.
Perfect.
So I think we can get rolling. So the way I normally start these off is if you could just kind of like give everyone like, you know, a little bio of yourself, what you do, what you're all about. Yeah.
Sure. So my artist name is Lynx. Hello everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. As I said before, I've been doing music for quite a while. I am a singer, songwriter, and producer, and have been releasing music since 2015. I teach voice lessons. I do commission work and work with children doing early music childhood development. And my music, I guess you could describe it, you could put it sort of under the umbrella of perhaps like experimental pop or so.
Yeah, I would say like alternative pop would probably be.
Yeah, it like ranges from like angry and heavy stuff to more like chill indie stuff to like completely dream pop stuff. So it's sort of all over the place, but whatever you're in the mood for, there's probably something for you on my page.
Yeah, there's that song you're doing with the music video that has like the fingernails and the you collaborated with the
Yes.
producer for that one. That one was like crazy. There was almost like a dubsteppy kind of drop or something. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It's completely
Yeah, with
different
that.
from your other stuff.
Yeah, so and we're actually so that I collaborated with Chris Berry on that child, call him Child, and we collaborate a lot, and that one is probably one of my favorite collaborations. That was a really fun project to do. Yeah, we both kind of wanted to do something that was just like super dirty, like just a dirty bass and like that those dirty synths, and just make it just like throw a whisper on there and then also juxtapose it with like this ethereal vocal for the verses to kind of give it this weird light and dark vibe. But the whole we're working on an album right now, and a lot of it's kind of steering in that direction.
Nice. So we're going to cover a lot of things over the course of this. So you're on streaming sites, of course, and I like just to kind of throw everyone some numbers around. Like you got like 42,000 monthly listeners and 5,000 followers on Spotify. You have a YouTube channel where I had the wrong page pulled up. You got like 2,200 subscribers on there. You talk a lot about, I guess, a mixture of you cover your music. You also cover like your process for making music. You've also done some marketing stuff, which is how I initially found you. You were just kind of sharing things you've tried and the wins and the failures along the way.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
And you're on TikTok, doing a similar kind of thing on there. You're every social media, etc. And I believe you do shows, right? Because I saw your website. You had like a show listed.
Yes, I'm doing really chill sort of things right now, just like playing around Massachusetts at like restaurants and wineries, breweries, very low key. But I'm hoping to get back into doing like some of like the more electronic stuff once the surge is.
Nice.
I don't know, when it's less intense.
Yeah.
If it's ever.
The COVID situation, I'm sure, makes that really complicated.
It's so complicated, yeah. Very, very complicated.
So I think maybe like a nice place to start would be out of everything you've done to promote your music, if you had to pick like one of the things or two of the things you've tried that have been like the most worth your time, what would you say that would have been?
Okay, the most worth my time. That's a really good question.
Yeah, it might be tricky to think
I know,
about.
I had to think of that one. Think about it, because there are so many avenues that you can take. And a lot of the times I feel like artists, we just choose every single one, and you have to figure out what works for you personally, of course. But after trying quite a lot of things, that I talk a lot about that on my YouTube channel. Like I've tried the playlist promotion, don't do it. I've tried like the Facebook ads I have done, which genuinely helped build my Instagram the most. I think that's the most that I got out of it. And how I chose to do it. It depends a lot on so many factors as you go over. But that mostly helped Instagram numbers as opposed to translating to actual streams for me personally.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that's the route I would go, but the biggest thing that I'm focusing on right now is just owning my audience. So I also have a video on that, but just being present. I know like it's really hard to be like so active on social media all the time. And it's hard to do, but I think it's really important to build that community and have the people that listen to you really get a sense of who you actually are, being authentically you, unapologetically yourself, and just showing up and basically just sharing who you really are and telling a story. I think that is the thing that has helped me the most and what I'm focusing on doing mostly moving forward, along with collaborating. And that's the other thing. Collaborating with other artists has drastically helped. If you're thinking about numbers and growing, then collaborating with other artists 100%, because it's a win-win for both of you. If you hopefully you would genuinely enjoy working with the person and like their stuff.
Yeah.
I hope, but that's another thing. That's definitely another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So two things you pointed out that I think would be worth diving into. Like everyone says this a lot, like, build a community around music. And everyone in comments I've seen when people say that, they're like, what the heck does that mean? Well, what does it mean to build a community? So when you think of like building a community around your music, like what does that translate to in like the literal sense of what do you do on social media or however way you're doing it?
Yeah, it translates to so for instance, my YouTube channel, I think that's one of the best ways I could describe doing the owning the audience thing. And what I mean by that is just sharing real experiences and giving back to the people that listen to, because there are people that want to learn how to do these things. And if you can be there and help others and just like share your experience, I think mostly that's really what it is, because the main point of my channel is to try and tell people that they're not alone in it, because I know how lonely and how scary it is to pursue this. So I want my channel to be a sense of like a safe place where people can go and hear someone be just like real about how hard it truly is, and in that they're not alone in their experience, because it can feel really freaking lonely. So yeah.
It's a good answer.
Yeah, basically just being honest and being someone to talk to. I want to make, like, I hope that I would be friends with the people that, watch this stuff.
Right. Yeah. So on your channel, you're kind of blending the education stuff for other artists with the stuff focused around your music. So you're kind of like incorporating educating artists with music fans and kind of blending them all together. What if someone was like, I want to build a community around my music without being like a content creator, without being like doing teaching stuff? Like, they still they're willing to post on social media, but without doing teaching. I guess maybe I would think the alternative would be just talk about their own lives and their own experiences or what they struggle with, and like I don't know.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, if you don't want to be like, there's a lot of people that I've tried this in the past to like sharing more like teaching things with actual production or writing lyrics and like things like that. If you don't want to do that, then I think just like there are people that will love to just sit and watch people do their laundry on YouTube. There are people like that love just like live streams on Twitch, like gaming. I love that, just watching people live their lives authentically, and it's really intriguing a lot of the time. So I would say just whatever feels like the most natural to you. You don't want to force anything, of course, but if you're just telling the story of your day, or something you might experience in music, or an opportunity that you might have gotten, or something that you think other people might be able to relate to in a way, but not being something where like I'm telling you how to do this and do it this way, but more like, oh, this is what happened, and here I am, and I don't know, or just being like funny, personable.
So
a lot of people gravitate to that.
You're right, because there's a lot of artists who will start like vlogs or blogs or something, and they just like talk about their day, or they whatever else going on in life, or if they love video games, they might share some stuff about their games, or they struggle with like mental health issues, they might talk about that, or that's a good answer. And,
people just want to know you. Or or that's the type of stuff I like. I like to just like, even if you're just like, being a fool, like I can be sometimes a lot, just being like a goof. People love that, or whatever. Like you're just, sometimes it doesn't have to be so serious.
Right, especially on TikTok.
That's like the least serious thing.
Yeah.
And I'm such a fool on my TikTok.
You do blend a lot of like I see you definitely do some trends, but you're not just like, a lot of people think of TikTok, think of dancing, cat videos, trends, but a lot of your videos on there are like what you do on YouTube, and then in between that I've seen a bunch of trends and silly stuff.
I try to incorporate a lot of different things. I'm still figuring out the TikTok thing. I would love to have more videos just like playing or, you know, doing like showing the music.
Yeah.
But I'm still figuring out the best way to do that right now. So I talk a lot. I talk a lot on those YouTube and TikTok.
Right, right. Another thing, did I just lose it in my head? There was something else I was going to talk about after the community thing. Oh yeah, the collaborating thing as like a newer artist, I guess. How have you found the best way to like find people that you can collaborate with, and how can you kind of ensure that it's like a worthwhile thing, if you even think about that? Like, you know, some people focus on the numbers, and some people just focus on like if they like the music of the person that they're working with. So how do you handle collaborations?
There's a lot to ponder when you are considering a collaboration, that's for sure. And you're sort of entering a very, especially if you don't know this person or you're collaborating remotely, you are just blindly hoping. It's just blind hope that, you know, something good will come out of it or whatever. Because you don't know their work ethic. You don't know if they're going to follow through. You don't know anything. And you yourself too, like, are you a good collaborator or not? You know, there's just a lot of things that you know, you have to consider. But in my experience, I want to do more collaborations. I've only done a few, but the ones I've done have been really worthwhile for me. Like with Child, for an example, like I plan on, I hope that we continue to work together for the long run. I've collaborated with Drive, who's like a really sick synthwave, retrowave producer. And that was funnily enough, a collaboration that happened because of TikTok. So that's a good reason to be on it, if nothing else. But he reached out just because he saw some things I was saying on TikTok. And I'm really happy because Embrace is the song we did. And it's one of my favorite songs I've ever done. So there's that. And then I've done a few, I just released something with this artist, Chow Boo. But not a lot of collaborations other than that. So I think it's about really vibing with the music, first of all, and then maybe building just a relationship, even if it's just a cyber relationship with that person, showing some support, and then trying it out if you're both down. And, you know, if things work out, it's the best feeling in the world. And I've had plenty of collaborations that haven't. You know, you try something and it just doesn't work out. And that's, at first it might be a letdown, but you're just like, you know, why would it work with every single person? Of course it won't, you know? So it's like a relationship. You just try it out, and then, you know.
That's basically how my experience with collabs has been. I've had plenty of ones sizzle out that don't turn into anything. And it's always a bummer, but, you know, it is what it is. And then I think on my music, I've collaborated with 2 people, like, released through my name. I've done a bunch with, like, other side projects, but one happened from, like, they're both remote. So one guy's in Florida and the other one's in, like, Tennessee or something, somewhere in the South. And I'm in Massachusetts, so, like, we've never... I did actually meet one of them at NAMM in 2020. So that was cool to meet them. Cool. In person. There's always fun. Like, I've got to meet a few people I know virtually in real life, and it's always such a weird thing because you don't never know how tall they're going to be. What, like, you know?
Right.
And you're like, oh, hey, so you're shorter than me. I thought you were going to be taller than me.
Right. Seriously. Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool.
And they, like, one of them I found through watching someone else's live stream. Like, they were doing a music review stream, and he had a song, and I loved his voice, and I hit him up on Instagram, and now we're trying to work on our second song.
That's amazing.
It's
See,
fun.
Sometimes it's just kind of as fast as that, but sometimes that's rare. If you guys just click and you're like, let's work on a song, and then it actually happens. Yeah. Damn, you know, like, what a...
yeah, and, like, the cool thing is it can turn into, like, cool friendships along the way. Like, the people I work with, I chat a decent amount online. We do regular Zoom calls, just try to catch up, or, you know, we help each other out. I'll give them some, like, Facebook ad tips, and they'll give me some like music production tips or do some video editing stuff for me, and it's great.
That's so great.
Someone just said Andrew looks dark and mysterious in this lighting. Thanks, man. Is my lighting different? I do feel like I look darker. I don't remember my camera setting is off. Well, either way, I guess I'm down for dark and mysterious. It's fine with me.
It's all right. That works.
Cool. So I think what we'll do, let's look at the chat for a little bit, and then we'll get back onto like the back on track. So, Make Tech Shooter. I started listening to Links after finding her YouTube. The personal stories gave context to the music. So.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of proof that what you're doing is working, I guess.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for I wonder what, on YouTube. Yeah, thanks for watching the YouTube videos. Sometimes it's scary to throw a lot of that stuff out there and you're like, I don't know, I'm like, totally gonna get judged, but whatever. At this point, when you do YouTube, it's like, you can't care, like, so that's really cool that you found me on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Yeah,
people can be really, really aggressive on YouTube. So yeah, you do have to have thick skin.
I know.
To get into it. I've definitely had the occasional. I mean, it's pretty rare, but like it's gonna happen eventually where someone just says something horribly mean to you, and you're just like, whatever, block.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it happens, and yeah, just you really, why even like think on it or let it fester at all? Because just imagine that person writing the comment and like in the cold dark room that they are in.
Yeah, the cool thing is usually like other people in your audience will come in and defend you. Which is always cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Eric Jr. says, taking notes. Use YouTube to tell genuine stories around the music and not just a platform for dropping. I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I apologize in advance, by the way, Links, but after this, I'm deep diving your page and stealing all of your content ideas.
Okay. Once it's on the internet, it's free. You can use it.
Yeah.
I hope it works out for you. It's,
And how do you balance making music and making content? From Eric Jr. That's actually a really good question.
That's a great question.
So I guess officially, out of this live chat answering portion of the video, official question: how do you balance making music and balancing your content?
It's like really hard for me to do, honestly.
Yeah.
My time management at this point, especially because I don't have like a one day job and then do the music thing. Like for me, my days are just so scattered in doing like so many things at once, that is sometimes really hard to schedule the time in a very productive way to feel productive in that sense of making both music and content. And if I'm being completely honest with you, right now I feel as though more of my time has been spent making content than making actual music right now. And I want to be able to balance that out in a better way at the moment and for the long run. But as I still figure certain things out, and plus adding on a few different jobs as well, I would say, like, well, what I do right now is schedule, like I put I have a day scheduled for YouTube basically. So like I'll do my YouTube, and then when I film YouTube, I usually do a few TikToks so I can like schedule them or post them a few days later. And then I'll have like a day of working on commissions and working on my own music. So it's sort of split it up into days, and then like admin work I'll do on another day. I don't do it by the hour really, but I try to just send my energy in very specific.
Yeah. So it sounds like you batch work on everything. So like if you're working on videos, you'll shoot a bunch of videos, a bunch of TikToks all at once. If you're doing music, you might just sit down and do a bunch of music stuff at once. You're not like bouncing between them all like a crazy person.
I try, but I totally still bounce.
Yeah.
Like if it came off like I don't do that, like I'm sorry. I do bounce. Like I try to have it all
Yeah.
schedule it, but there's a lot of times where I'll just like do a commission, and then I'm like, oh, I have some time, like I'll film a TikTok actually too, and then I kind of like end up being a little crazy, but
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you do it? Curious.
So for the longest time, it's just I've just been insanely busy every day. So like I think if you include everything that I work on, I probably work like 80 hours a week or something. So it's been a lot. But what I've been doing recently in the past, I don't know, 6 months that have helped a lot is that batch creation. So when I sit down, like I think last week I sat down to work on YouTube videos, and I shot 5 YouTube videos and 5 videos for my courses just in one sitting. So I spent like an hour and a half just filming, and then a few days later, or basically like throughout the next week, whenever I had time, I could hop in and edit those videos, and I might edit a few at once, and then a few days later edit the next one. And so it's like getting into the mindset of like filming and making content is kind of different from the mindset of editing, and that's different from the mindset of like making thumbnails and
I know. There's so much that goes into just YouTube itself.
yeah.
That's insane. I've never done that. I've only done one YouTube video at a time just because that's such a big project for me. I don't know. Like editing, of course, is kind of like sometimes mindless and you're just kind of like doodle-doo, editing the cuts out. But when you're talking about, I don't know, a specific thing, I feel like I only have like one topic in me at a time. And I'm just like, I'll go off and then I'm like, okay, edit it. Like
the thing that made that possible was that I started using a tool called ClickUp. It's like a free task scheduling tool. And so whenever I think of a YouTube idea, I just write it in there, and I'll sit down once a week and I'll just brainstorm a bunch of video ideas based on comments, based on what I'm working on, and then I'll put some notes in each one, and that way when I'm in like a filming mood and I have time to shoot a video, I'll just hop in and I'll try to bang out a few of them at once. Since I've already thought of them, it's like they're just waiting for me to film.
Right.
Prior to that,
that's really smart.
It was one at a time. Like I'd film, and then I would like I'd come up with an idea, I'd film it, and then I would edit it, and then I would make the thumbnail, and then I would make the title and upload it. So now it's just like brainstorm ideas, film a bunch of stuff, later edit a bunch of stuff, later thumbnail and title a bunch of stuff, and that.
Right.
I did the same thing with social media now. Starting this year, like TikToks, I'll sit down and just make like 5.
Yeah.
That seems to help.
It does. Yeah, I feel like that's the better way to do it, or I don't know, whatever works for you. I feel like that would be a better way for me personally to get it done, for sure.
Yeah,
but you also upload a lot more YouTube. You upload to YouTube a lot.
I try.
Yeah.
The goal is twice a week.
Yeah.
I think you do like once a week though, don't you?
I was doing once a week for a while, and then I do every 2 weeks now.
Okay.
Just because I'm trying to, I don't know, maybe I'll get back up there, but I've started like with Patreon too, and then like I'm trying to do Reels and the TikToks and stuff, as you know, we all are.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get back up there once I can manage my time a little better, but as of right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess now that we're talking about YouTube, like you have 2,200 subscribers on YouTube. So like, what was the journey of growing your channel, and like, what do you found helped the most? Like, how long has all this taken you to grow and all that?
Okay. So there's a story, but basically I had a YouTube channel before. So I changed my artist name to Lynx like a year ago. And so I had another I used to go under my legal name, which is Sarah Kendall, and all my music was under there. I had to undergo an artist name change, and at the time I did it, YouTube didn't allow you to transfer your subscribers over. So as an independent artist, so I had to start over on YouTube like a year ago or whatever. Whenever I started, it might have been a year or 2 ago. But I uploaded so much more than I ever uploaded on my initial channel. I had 10 videos on my first channel, and they were all performance, all originals and covers and stuff. It was very performance based. So starting kind of over and uploading much more often, the growth, I'm still quite small, but the growth has been so much faster.
Yeah.
Because I had my other channel for like 7 years, and I think I was at about the same amount of subscribers that I'm at now, and in my new channel.
Yeah, and you said that was like a year ago you switched it over, a little more than a year?
Yeah, probably like a year and a half ago I started this channel.
Growing to like 2,000 plus subscribers in a year and a half is like actually quite good. A lot of people don't realize that because they see like Peter McKinnon going from like several thousand to several million in a year. But
yeah, I mean, it's all over the place. I feel like consistency, like definitely uploading at least once a week definitely helped that.
Yeah.
When I first started, like, and doing it on like the same days, uploading on the same consistent schedule really helps growth on YouTube. But yeah, I in it for the long run. I love doing YouTube, and I think it really helps build that. Like, it's a very key part into building community, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. YouTube, like, there's no way to shortcut it. Like, a lot of social media platforms, there's some way you can kind of like pay to play, like especially Facebook, right? You can run a page like
gosh, yeah, Facebook, Instagram. Oh, what a nightmare.
YouTube, like, they purposefully exclude all like the ad stuff. So like you can run ads on your YouTube videos, but you can't get monetized from running ads on YouTube ads. They specifically write like any watch hours you've gained from YouTube ads won't count towards your monetization requirements.
Wow.
Channel. So like they made it impossible to game, I think. But the cool thing is, like, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time to grow it, but I found that the like quality of people you get are like fantastic. Like,
yeah, it's because first of all, I'm like, how do people even find me? Like, it's really cool. Like, that, I don't know, the algorithms are clearly, reaching the right people, and the videos are reaching people who need it. So YouTube does that really well for you, and I'm so grateful for that.
yeah.
So yeah, Instagram quite like stresses me out a lot. But like, and that's why I like with the Facebook ads, like that was the only way in which my Instagram kind of grew like really fast. But I don't know, I was paying for that, and it felt like, I don't know. I was trying to get listens on my music and like build audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of weird. It felt kind of weird to do.
Yeah. When I run the Facebook ads, it's always focused around like conversions to get people to stream, which I found to
mine
be.
were too.
Oh, okay. So you never had good. Well, I think in some of your videos you had good results, but I think you said you stopped doing it just because it was expensive, right?
Yeah, it was too expensive for me. Yeah. And for the streaming, I just didn't feel as though and maybe I was setting them up in a way that wasn't optimal. I'm guessing that had to have been the case, but yeah, I just kind of stopped.
Well, if you want, I'll have to. If you want, at least I could show you how I set them up. We can talk about that another time. See if maybe you can get better ones working the second time. But the Instagram side, like, a lot of people ask me, like, should I run Facebook ads to promote my Instagram, to grow my Instagram? And anytime I'm running like ads, I never try to grow on the social media, on like Instagram and Facebook, because like Facebook has pulled out the rug so many times in the past, where like Facebook pages used to be great for organic reach.
Yeah, not anymore.
No. And so they're going to do the same thing with Instagram. Like, guaranteed they're going to do that. And so if you spend all this time gaining like 100,000 Instagram followers, eventually it's going to become a point where only 1% of your followers see your post anyways. So it's like, who cares?
I know. It feels like that. Yeah. The while I was running the Facebook ads, I didn't even know that was going to be something that happened. I didn't realize it was going to grow my Instagram, because well, that's just not initially what I thought was going to happen, but it did, and I was like, okay, freaking great. Yeah. And so when it was happening, while I was running the ads, my engagement was extreme, like way higher than it ever had been. And the second I stopped doing the ads, I had gained a lot of followers on my Instagram, but the engagement dropped.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like this kind of just looks dumb now, like sick.
Yeah. The Instagram follower growth I've always considered like a nice side effect, but it's like social media in general. Like, as you said at kind of the beginning of this, you're focusing a lot on owning your audience and you're owning like everything you do. Social media is the perfect example of just not owning your audience, right? Because
A lot of things are just straight up out of your control. Yeah.
yeah, we're all in borrowed land. Like even right now on YouTube, it's like YouTube could change anything whenever. They could go bankrupt, next week. And if you don't have a way to reach out to your people, or they don't have a way to find you through like a website or mailing list, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, really important to have a website.
Yeah. Do you do the mailing list stuff at all?
I have one, but I have never sent one out. But I do have one. That I have it on like MailChimp. I have to like look at who's signed up there, but I really should start actually sending stuff out. I do the Patreon thing, but it is different, obviously. So like email something that you would just like totally see.
Patreon's a good kind of alternative to that. How have you found that to be, Patreon, so far?
I recently just started truly trying to grow it. I had it for a little bit, but I never posted about it. It's hard to post about it, or it was hard for me to say like, hey, can you like subscribe to this? But now my mentality is completely shifted. And I'm like, yeah, like, if you want to support, if you listen to the music and you're interested, then yeah, this is an option that you have. And that's all. If you want to just like dive deeper into some of the like behind the scenes or like work in progress or how I mixed or how I produced or something, then there's something that you can check out. And it also would help me support what I do and make more of it. And if it helps you or benefits you, then I think it's a good little thing. But my Patreon's very small. I'm trying to grow it though. I've done a YouTube video on it too, just telling people that that's an option, or other artists that there's an option.
Yeah.
For them.
So what kind of so you mentioned some of the content that you put on there. So it's like is it largely behind the scenes, maybe like, I guess I don't know what else I would describe it as, but behind the scenes, kind of like the same stuff you're putting out at other places, but just like more of it that they can't access anywhere else but the Patreon.
Yeah, so I haven't done a lot of behind the scenes. It's mostly demo, like it's mostly unreleased music, so or works in progress to like show you the journey that the song takes to get to its final form. And I've done like I did a video, like a 30-minute long video with Child about how we made Cannonball, the song that you listened to, and that just went over the production, how we did the vocals, how we did the ideas behind it. So just that sort of thing, like more educational things of like how to make a specific song. And then also I do like little vlogs and blogs and kind of just share more personal stuff, sort of that being like the this is who I am, the unedited sort of thing. Nice.
That sounds cool. A lot of people ask me like if they should do something like that, because I have a Patreon for this channel, and it's different with this channel than music, right? Because like the music content's not, it's I don't have everything integrated like you do. I have it like split apart in a way where like I have Andrew Southworth channel and I have Andrew Southworth music channel. I have Andrew Southworth TikTok, Andrew Southworth music TikTok. So I used to have them combined, but then I found half my audience like hated every other video.
Interesting. Yeah, that's so. Yeah. So do you find that splitting them apart has made things a little better for you, or? Yeah.
When I decided to commit to doing like mostly music marketing, businessy type content, my channel like doubled in growth, or more than doubled. Wow. And then, so I think it was a win, but I think like, you're not the only person who kind of has successfully mixed them. Like, I think it's working well for you, but like also Adriel Rivera, I don't know if you know who he is. He has a channel and he also kind of mixes together the artistry stuff with the education stuff and like behind the scenes stuff. And there's a bunch of other examples, but like you can do it. But for me, I don't know, the path that I took myself down for YouTube, it was like, my audience was fragmented between people who want this, people who want this. So like every other time I posted a video, it was like half the people were upset, that I wasn't putting the thing that they wanted. And I still get comments to this day from people like, when are you going to do your next screaming lesson? Because I used to do screaming vocal lessons on this
That's
channel.
awesome.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna. Like, I
Right.
can't at this
Right.
point.
Yeah. Like at this point, like throwing something up there like that would probably, but also, I don't know. A lot of people probably wouldn't agree with me on this, but I just, like, I'm the same way with the type, when you like talk about genre or whatever of music,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are like, what are you doing? Like, why are you releasing like some sort of dream pop thing and then like an industrial cinematic piece?
Yeah.
You know, and like they're like, okay, maybe you should have different projects for these. There are different artist names for the music. And I've tackled and like kind of really had to think about that for so long to figure out like, oh, like I get it, but also I just want to do, I just don't, I want to be like genreless, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, sure, like marketing wise, that's not going to be great, but also that's just what I have chosen to do. And, you know,
Yeah.
like maybe at some point they'll be like, oh, that's cool. But for me, like, that's just simply, I just want to do what I want to do. So.
Yeah, I've been bad about the music genre stuff too, and I do draw the line. Like, I'll have some songs that are almost like poppy with some electronic and a little more rock style vocals, and then I'll have some stuff that's like straight up EDM. But I found that works fine. But like, I also have some side projects that are like metal that I wouldn't even consider dropping on mine because it would be too much of a shock. So like, I have a bunch of side projects for that reason. So like, there's Andrew Southworth, there's Murder Night, there's Day 4, there's Code Talker, there's Lo-Fi. I have all these like side projects, so that when I'm making music that like I love making, but it doesn't fit under my name, at least I can still put it out.
Yeah.
But I think what you're doing is like everything's close enough, like because your voice is still you know.
Yeah, the voice is the one unifying factor of it all.
Yeah, and your writing
so-
style, your lyric style, your branding, your video style, like. I checked out a few of your songs, and while they can be quite different, like they all sound like they're from the Lynx universe, you know.
Well, it's good. Okay, so it's the fact that you say that, okay, gives me some confidence.
Yeah, I think it's the big cohesion is like your vocals, like you do like a few particular types of things that sound unique, and so no matter what song you're doing, it all still sounds like you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So hopefully that's the same for me.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you're singing on the tracks, then usually that's.
Except for one, which ironically is my most popular one, but maybe that's why it's the most popular.
Well, interesting.
Yeah.
So unpredictable.
Yeah. It can be. All right, let's look at some chat stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on. Have you guys used TubeBuddy by any chance, or do you have an opinion on it?
Yes, I use it. Do you use it?
I used to. I still have it. I used to pay for it though. Now I switched to Morning Fame, which I don't have my affiliate link handy. If I did, I'd throw it in the chat. But
yeah, that's because I pay for TubeBuddy, but I do the version that's like it's like $9 a month.
Yeah. TubeBuddy was nice, but Morning Fame, I don't know. For some reason, the way that their keyword research tool is like phenomenal. Like it tells you like based on the size of your channel, for like this particular thing you're doing. When you can put in like the title, you fill in your description, you fill in your tags, and it tells you like what are the like out of a scale of 0 to 100%, what's the chances that this video will perform well for a channel your size? And everything's really clear and it tells you like what time of day, like every time a video you upload, it gives you a report 3 days later, and it tracks what time you uploaded it, so you can know like when you upload videos at different times, how do they perform, like what videos do people like the most, and so I don't know. TubeBuddy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's cheaper. I think it's $9.99 a month, but it has all the features of like TubeBuddy's $20 a month thing.
Oh, okay. So I'm paying for the version of TubeBuddy that's like not the $20 one, but I'll have to check out Morning Fame.
Yeah, it's like Morning Fame, but it's like .me, so that it's like morningfa.me.
Okay.
I've been using that for since like early 2020 or so, and that's also when my channel started really picking up. So I think it was just a coincidence when I switched, but I really like it. Like, I genuinely like it. I pay for it too, so this isn't like a sponsored thing.
Oh, that's good. It's good to know. I really like TubeBuddy.
Yeah.
I think they do something similar with the size of your channel, like how it's gonna do comparatively. But I don't know about the reports. Like, I don't think I get like a video report or.
I think TubeBuddy has something like it, but it's not as fleshed out as Morning Fame's. And I think Morning Fame is a 1 month free trial as well.
Okay.
So it's pretty, everyone can check it out and decide if they like it. But,
yeah, good to know.
Cool. Where did I just lost my place in here?
Email list.
Oh yeah, email list stuff. Oh, that was probably from back when we were talking about email lists. I feel like this conversation is moving towards email lists. Seems like email and website are the only consistent ones through the years. I remember you put out a poll about making an email list video, and I was like the only one who voted for it. I'm definitely gonna make an email list video because I do a lot of email marketing. Like, a lot of it's for not for my artist stuff. I do have like 250 email list subscribers for my music specifically, but for like the business side of things, for the music marketing and everything, it's like 4,000 people. So like, I think in the past month I've sent 7,000 emails. So I do that pretty heavily. So
yeah, that's clearly it's been very successful for you.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, in the past, this was for when I was running like my sample pack business. But I remember when I was doing it like every month, launching new products. If like I was about to go on vacation and I wanted some money before I went on vacation, I would just email my list with a sweet discount code and make like $100, and then like, oh cool, spending money for the weekend.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So it can be really, you couldn't do that on social media. Like, if you dropped like a post with a link to buy a product, like Facebook and Instagram would just like throttle that post so hard.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The email list. I don't know, but I wonder how it would be like as an artist. I don't know a lot of, or I'm not signed up to artists' email lists if they have. I don't know anyone who has them. I'm sure they exist.
Yeah. A lot of the big artists are bad about it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of smaller artists that like their list consistently gives them a good amount of cash flow. Like, I talked to Jesse Gillen-Walters on this channel. He sells like hundreds of CDs per month, and email is the most common way he sells them. So there are people doing it, but I think it's also just like an engagement thing. Like, you're keeping people in your bubble, in your like universe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
50 email subscribers who actually read every time is probably worth more than 500 followers on every platform. Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
I would definitely say.
Genre is more blurry than ever. You can change your sound a lot before it becomes too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's certainly, I'm doing that.
So on the switching gears here, on the Spotify side of things, like you've tried playlisting, you've tried Facebook ads, you do a lot of organic stuff. You already said kind of what you think is the best approach that's been the most valuable, but like specifically for Spotify, which thing moved the needle the most, you think?
What moved the needle is I got lucky. I had a stroke of luck, and that's the only one of the only reasons my Spotify got that first initial push was because I've said this before publicly, but I'll say it again. But basically, my sister had this unofficial, well, people thought it was the official game soundtrack to Life is Strange. Do you know that video game? Life is Strange?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so there was like, I don't know, as a small artist with no fault, it was right when I started putting out music. She put my first few songs on there, I think. Or no, it was the Comply EP. I have this 5-song EP that has definitely been the most successful of my tracks, besides a song I have called Love You More. But I think that was also put on it. But basically, my sister put my songs on that playlist, and it had about, I don't know, 35,000 followers. And it
I wonder if it's
like
the
Reddit
same
posts about it.
Life is Short playlist that I was on, because at some point I got back when I was trying playlisting a lot, I got on a Life is Strange playlist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm like scrolling my Spotify, and I don't see it, but I have to dig around and find it. But I got on a
Okay.
playlist that was like it was like the Life is Strange soundtrack, and it was for like the first season or episode of the game.
Wait, that's really
So
interesting.
I
I
don't know
wonder
if
if it was.
if she does curation too. Like, does she let people pitch to her playlists?
No.
Maybe it's just another one then. I mean, it's a popular game,
Maybe.
but it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, and this was like many years back. Yeah, when that first game
I
came out.
found it. Let me open it up. Hold on. That'd be funny if it's the same one. Is her
That is,
Spotify name isn't Gabacus to Dip? That's not it, right?
Maybe because she
Life
always
is
changed.
Strange Before the Storm soundtrack is what it's called now. I think the name changed. Before it used to have the original video game.
Okay, I don't know because I'm pretty sure she's changed it a bunch, and now it's like because she was found out that it wasn't the actual official one, so she had to change it or something.
Yeah, when you find out, let me know. That would be hilarious if it's like the same.
Yeah, I will. I will.
I've somehow
But yeah,
talked to your
basically,
sibling.
yeah, like the algorithm was just tricked because people just thought they were like, "Oh, what does this mean? Like, what's gonna happen in the
Yeah,
video game now that like that's gonna be the mood of it?" And then people were like, "Oh my God, who's this art?" Like,
yeah,
it was just luck. It was a very extremely lucky situation, and that's how like fantasies and like comply
yeah. That's
got
like
on Discover Weekly.
that's a million streams between the two of those.
Yeah, yeah, that EP has a lot of streams. Um, and they were brief. They weren't on the playlist for like an incredibly long amount of time, but it was enough to just trick the algorithm. And and still today, I get a lot of streams on those songs daily, at least at like 1,000
Yeah,
per day. Um, and I just think it's because now it's on radio and all the algorithmic playlists. Just in
yeah,
that, no. There's well, Complies on an editorial playlist. That's the only song I've ever had on an editorial playlist. Um, so
yeah.
it got on an editorial playlist. So maybe because of that, I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've only had one song ever get on an editorial. It got on two, and one of them was like Bass Arcade, and then there was a smaller one that's still on. And I don't know, it gave me like 70,000 streams, but like the song is
yeah.
170, so it didn't even make up half of what the song has now.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
editorial playlists seem to be not as good as a lot of people think they're going to be, but
No,
maybe
Discover Weekly is like so much better. I don't know. In my
yeah,
experience, I have like most of my streams come from there.
same. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I think 30% of my streams are algorithmic in general. Um,
Yeah.
but most of that is Discover Weekly. 64% of my streams come from listeners' own playlists and library. So that's like people who saved my song in the past, just listening.
60%?
64. So it's like
Wow, that's a lot.
so like
Wow.
basically the cool thing with that is like if I stopped running all ads and Spotify kicked me off all of my algorithmic playlists and editorial playlists, I would still have 64% of my listeners.
That's amazing.
Um,
Yeah, mine's the listener's own playlist and library is 43%.
that's still really good. So that means if everything failed you tomorrow, 43% of your listeners, like they're still gonna listen. It's not like they're gonna stop listening to you because you're not at Discover Weekly anymore, right?
Right, yeah. Only 4% of my streams comes from Spotify editorial.
Yeah.
4% come from my profile.
Yeah.
Oof.
Mine's only 8, but I'm in between releases. Like when I have a new release out and I'm running a bunch of ads to it, there's a lot more in your profile and catalog.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. I forget what I was just gonna say. What were you just talking about before that? Oh yeah. I was asking you what moved the needle the most for you, and you said you lucked out with that playlist when you started.
Yeah, literally. And I think that is well. So this is the thing. So I was also under a different name that entire time. So when I changed my artist name, everything hit the fan, and the algorithm stopped. For a while, it was really hard for me to transfer my releases over to the new name. It was like this shit show.
Yeah.
But once it actually happened, then the algorithm, luckily, it just went back to normal and just started sending people to my new page.
Yeah.
But at first, I had none of that support for my older page, so I was just starting from scratch, and that was really freaking hard. So like, wow, most people when they start and there's no support, you're just kind of like, can you guys listen, please? You know? So I had to go through that too, but then luckily I had very little listeners when I changed my name. But then once all my old music transferred over to the new page, the algorithm started kicking in again.
Did you go through DistroKid for distribution?
Yes.
Or so like did you do the name change through them, or is it a Spotify thing?
I had to do it through them, through DistroKid.
So
and I was doing it during a time where it isn't as updated. It wasn't as updated about like and cohesive as a process as it is now. But I did it before you could just be like edit the artist name. Like I had to like do all this. I have if you guys are going through that, I have a bunch of two videos on that on my YouTube channel.
Good. Yeah, I've had people ask me about it, and I don't know. I've never changed an artist name. You're the second person I know of that did it. Someone else I had on this channel changed it. And it was weird for him because he had like 150,000 monthly listeners or something, and he changed his name and all that. So it was like weird because like he's been making music for like 20 years or something. So like his music like volume took a while to transfer. So like the old one was like slowly shrinking down to 0, and the other one was like slowly growing back up.
Yeah, that's how it worked. Yeah, for mine too, because as the listeners were getting, you know, leaving my older page, they were just gaining on the other one. So it was
it's weird.
Interesting how it.
Well, all the followers moved over, I'm guessing, as well, right?
Sorry.
Did all
the followers? Yeah. Spotify was able to easily just shift the followers over. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I was so afraid.
But the old one still exists, right? The old one does still exist.
And I can't get rid of it because I have features that went through a label on that page, and I'm not allowed to take them down. So or ship them over to the new name because Apple Music like doesn't allow it. And so hairy. Because I can't delete those releases, the page exists. But it's a dead page.
You have one monthly listener, which I wonder how you do because you have
because there's no music.
There's no music. Like how do you have one monthly listener on there? That's so weird. Well now,
what's weird is
now I'm following you as Sarah Kendall on Spotify. You have 45 followers as Sarah Kendall on Spotify.
See, why? Like, how? Well, I don't know. For some reason, sometimes the older music, when it comes up, it still shows up under my old name. And then when you click the name, it goes to links.
That's annoying.
So I think it's just, I don't know, some metadata error. But
yeah.
That might be why.
So how often do you release new music?
I was trying last year and before I was doing, last year I was doing a song a month, which was a lot.
Yeah.
And I have not been able to continue that. 2020 I released an album, so it was all just like in one. But 2021 I was doing literally a single a month. But I burnt out really quick.
Yeah.
So now I try to release, I don't know, I have about like 50 songs at this point because I do some commissions too and stuff like that and features on other people's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I release fairly often. I think the next batch, it's going to be an album, so it's been taking a long time. So I'm not sure when the next single or whatever is going to be ready to lead up to the album, but I was releasing quite frequently.
Yeah. Have you noticed any difference between like when you dropped that album in 2020 versus releasing the singles monthly in 2021?
Yes, well, this is the thing. So when I released the album, I didn't have the support of my old music on my page. So the album did, like, it kind of, I'm not going to say it flopped, but it didn't get that many streams because at that time I had like no followers on the new page.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wouldn't be able to give you a solid, like if I were to, once I drop an album on this new page with the support of my other listeners, maybe it would be a more valid and honest way to answer that question. But yeah, of course, releasing singles is going to just continuously drive traffic to your page. And I don't know, an album I think is just at that point, like you release it just because you want to release a cohesive full project, knowing that sure, it like yeah, your streams probably would be more if you were releasing it separately.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing an album in the next like couple months, but it's just gonna be an album that's the last 2 years of singles combined.
Yeah, I mean,
So
exactly. It's kind of
it's just gonna be like I don't know, almost thinking of like a milestone benchmark, like album releases, but it's essentially just everything I've done the last 2 years thrown together with like a couple new songs, and then move on to the next single after that.
yeah. I think that's a great idea. I think of it like that too. Like I think an album is so special. Like I know like I'm happy I have an album out. Like I'm really happy about that.
Yeah,
Just because it's a cohesive, like a full just world, you know. I
yeah,
think that's I'm into that that sort of thing. Because I
yeah,
do a lot of singles. I do mostly singles, but I'm ready to release a project.
yeah. Albums are like when I listen to music, I'm the kind of person who I'll click the first song in an album and let the whole thing play. But a lot of people are not like that, especially non music artists. They just want to hear one single from this artist, and then they don't even want to hear another song from the same artist after that. They want to hear a different artist.
Yeah. Yeah, Release Radar and all those like the Discover Weekly, which is how a lot of people listen to music and find new music. It's like just set up like that, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, someone just asked if we do Submit Hub.
So
I don't know your experience with that.
I do use a little bit of Submit Hub for every release, but it's literally like
Yeah.
$50 or something, and
Mm-hmm.
but I do it relatively small. The thing with Submit Hub that a lot of people don't realize is like if you're getting rejected 90% of the time, that's actually good. Like that's like a 10% acceptance rate is actually a good rate for that kind of thing. And this isn't like just Submit Hub. Submit Hub, playlist push, organically reaching out to curators, like getting accepted 10% of the time is actually like good.
Gosh, I know. It's just wild. I mean, exactly. Like, there's just so much music all the time that it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also a curator on Submit Hub because I have my own playlist.
Oh,
And
okay.
I reject most of this stuff. Like I try to get as many artists on my playlist as I can, but I still reject 70% of all songs.
Yeah, because I'm sure just the volume of music you're getting is like just simply too much.
Most of the time, it's not bad music. It's just that the music, I don't have a spot for it. Like someone will send me, like, for example, I have like a modern pop and EDM playlist. I have like a chill out EDM playlist. I have a catchy rock and metal playlist. So if someone sends me a very heavy metal song, if it doesn't have a catchy hook in it, it doesn't fit in my only rock and metal playlist. If you submit a song to me that's more like super experimental, I might like it, but I might not have a playlist for it because I'm doing more like electronic-y pop. So most of the time I'm telling people like, this is really good. Like it's got great vocals, it's got great hook, but like this just doesn't, I don't have a place for it.
Yeah, and that's honest, and yeah, it's true.
Unfortunately, a lot of the curators on there suck at telling people.
Oh my God, so many. I laughed at like at first it got to me like because I used to use Submit Hub all the time on the older stuff, and some of the responses I got were just like comical, like just so mean that it was just like.
Same. Yeah, I've had people say like, "Lol, what the hell is this?" or whatever, and it's like, and I just report them. Like, cause you can go to like the people who are on the site and basically telling them like they're not so like Submit Hub on the back end, they have a lot of stuff in there on to like keep the quality high. So like if someone's being a douchebag, like if you told the Submit Hub team, they would be very grateful you told them because it makes them look bad, when they have curators that are like, this is trash, LOL or whatever, like it's not supposed to be like that.
Right. Right, but it is. It is just like that.
I've gotten so much stupid feedback. Like someone rejected my song because it wasn't out yet. I was like, that's like the whole point. Like it says
I know, the whole point. They're just like looking for reasons just to like not like they want to listen. They'll listen like 5% of the song maybe. Just be like, nope, like absolutely not.
Yeah, so it's rough, but like playlist push, which doesn't get a lot of the same pushback as Submit Hub, it's exactly the same in the back end.
Mm-hmm.
The feedback can be just as questionable, except you're paying 5 times more for it.
Oh man, yeah. I've never used Playlist Push.
Playlist Push will pay curators between $1.25 and $15 per song they listen to. Submit Hub only pays 50 cents to $1.50. So if you use Playlist Push, you're paying 5 to 10 times more for the same service.
The same thing.
Now there's different curators on there, so you might have better luck in it. But I think it's more designed towards like labels in general, because like they don't want to comb through Submit Hub and find them. They just want to give a company some money and then just like get on some playlists. But
yeah.
Are you gonna spend $5,000 pitching your music to Playlist and Playlist Push? No.
No, absolutely not.
Universal.
I don't even
however,
like submit anymore. I don't know. Maybe there'll come a time when that happens again, but for now I just simply cannot be bothered anymore.
Yeah. I stopped for a while. At least for playlisting, like I focused on blogs for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to get like I can run Facebook ads to promote my Spotify. I can't run Facebook ads to get blog coverage or YouTube channel coverage or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about Playlister Club? Have you heard of that?
No, I don't know.
I've never used it either. I've heard of it. I think it's a similar thing to Submit Hub, but only Spotify playlists.
Oh, okay. Apparently the interface is strange.
If music is trash, it's trash, lol. At least some folks are honest. That's what matters. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I've had people tell me in one thing, it's like some people say, wow, this mix and master is phenomenal, but I didn't, it doesn't fit in my playlist. And I'll have another one that says, like, the mixing and master in this is terrible or whatever. And then I've had, like, some comments will get back, wow, I love the vocals on this. They're phenomenal. I'll get another one that says, I really just hate your voice. So it's like I get so many contradictions with it that most people...
it's just so subjective.
Yeah.
I've been told like your voice is just so annoying, or you like that kind of thing, or
yeah.
I just don't like your voice, man. Or like
yeah.
Okay, sure.
I mean, I don't like Ariana Grande's voice, but she's a fantastic singer.
Right, right.
Same like Rihanna, I don't really like. I mean, I like the sound of Taylor Swift's voice. I like the sound of I'm blanking on vocalists, but it's like there's some vocalists that are really famous that I just don't like the sound of their voices or whatever. Like, I can't stand Nicki Minaj.
But it's not to say that they're like not talented. They're so incredibly talented. It's just not your.
Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea, and like some people love some artists and other people hate them, and that's kind of normal. So, if it's not like yes, some music is objectively like, I mean, music can be objectively badly executed for sure, but most of the time, if you're getting to the point where you're submitting your music online, you're probably reasonably good at it. I hope. There's definitely some people where I'm like, you probably shouldn't be sharing this stuff yet. Like, let it cook for a little while longer. But
yeah.
This is most people.
Sure. I've never done it. I've never like been a playlist curator and like that sort of thing. Or...
Yeah. So you went to college for music.
Yeah.
Did you go to like a fancy school like Berkeley or MI or anyone? Or...
I did. I went to Berkeley. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I almost went. I got accepted for their music recording thing, but I could not afford it.
Yeah. So, the only reason I could go was because of a scholarship.
I did not. I guess I was not talented enough to get one.
No, I don't even think that's what it, like, I don't, sometimes I think it was like the interview or something, or I don't know, like, they just kind of like gave them out. Like, I don't know. I don't really know the story, but
what was your
you have a scholarship. I was like, okay.
What was your focus or major?
It was songwriting and so I majored in like the contemporary writing. I went in for contemporary writing production, but I ended up focusing on like the vocal performance and songwriting.
Yeah.
So my instrument was voice.
Oh, cool. Do you think going to music school was like worth it in the end?
I actually do, in my case, because I'm such I had a lot, like I'm such an introvert, or when I was that age, I was just so socially awkward, socially anxious. And I feel like if I wasn't literally forced into a room with like other people that made music, I don't know how it would have looked for me at this point.
Hmm.
I don't know. But I think just being around other musicians and just an atmosphere where you just simply had to do it to, I don't know, pass or whatever. Um, the people I met, um, I think that made it worth it for sure. And also just
Nice.
like different things like improv, like ear training and like improv and just being confident in what you're doing, as well as building that community with other musicians in the area. I do think,
Yeah.
but it did not prepare you for what was to come. That's for freaking sure.
Yeah. I would
No, like it's
imagine.
sure you had to sing, but to apply and actually make a career out of it, no.
Yeah. I've heard that complaint from other people who've gone to school for music, not even specifically at Berkeley, but to like any music program, that when they're done with the degree, it's like they have all these skills, but they have zero idea of like how to actually make money with those skills.
Apply them.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I went at a time like I graduated in 2016, so it was just such a different world back then with like
Yeah.
music or whatever. Spotify, was that even a thing? Like I don't know. I think I joined
Yeah.
released right when Spotify like kind of started. Or, I don't know,
Yeah.
or when it was still new. So
Right. Yeah. And the music
it
industry's
changes
changed
so
a ton.
fast.
Yeah. It's like
I
just
like
10
never
years
even
ago.
used Instagram in
Yeah.
college.
Instagram Reels didn't exist. TikTok didn't exist. I think. What was the short one before? Vine. I think Vine was popular in 2016.
Yeah, Vine was a thing, but it was like barely like,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't anything like it was Facebook. Facebook was the way to communicate.
Yeah.
And pages like you were talking about before. Like that's how you now I get like no one I don't even know if people know I have a page on like freaking Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even in like 5 years, things change so much. It's nuts. That's the year I
yeah.
graduated from college as well, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Where did
twinsies.
so
Hmm?
Quincy?
Oh no, I said twinsies, as in like.
Oh,
Yeah,
twinsies.
yeah.
Where did you go? So
I
you
w-
went for mechanical engineering, yeah?
yeah, yeah. So I had to get my bachelor's in 2016 with mechanical engineering at just like the local university, UMass Lowell, and then went back for my master's. I have a master's in mechanical, but yeah. Now the cool thing like with that is that field is like so good at training people how to get jobs, because at the end of the
Mhm.
day it's like all about the money in that industry.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's a higher paying out of college kind of thing, and they teach you in school. Like I remember having a class that was just focused around like stuff that's relevant in the workplace. And there's a lot of stuff I don't use from college, and there's a lot of stuff that I had to learn on like while working. But
Hmm.
I think music education could kind of learn from those fields where like they have really good co-op programs. They have dedicated classes telling people like how you should interact with employers and interviews. And from what I've heard, Berkeley doesn't really do that at all, or other
No.
music colleges either.
Yeah, no, there was none of that. Part of me is like, oh, I wonder if like, if I were to have majored in music marketing, but also all of that would have been irrelevant by now.
Yeah.
Of course. So no, like whatever. It's just, yeah, one of those things where you kind of just have to throw yourself out there and just because who has the answer? Like, I don't know. Like, how would you even teach that? I guess like saying
Well,
like talking about the things that we are talking about now, I guess, just like throwing around ideas and see what,
you mean the music marketing aspect of it, or do you mean the
yeah. Yeah.
yeah? Well, I guess
Marketing.
they could, I guess it would at least be relevant to like bring in outside people who are
Oh
actively in
yeah.
that industry. Like, I mean, these interview videos, they're never like the most popular thing on my channel, but the people
Hmm.
that watch my channel a lot, they love these because they get to hear like new perspectives from artists who are actively in the grind and pushing with this stuff, right? So like
Yeah.
even bring in some like to bunch of Berkeley students, bringing you into the classroom to talk about what you're doing, what sucks, what's great. and then like maybe once a week bring in someone like you at all these different levels. You know, someone who just started a year ago, someone who has like they live off, you know, they have like hundreds of thousands of fans, and just like pull these people in and just like have them talk about the music industry at least. I think
Seriously, yeah, that would have been super helpful.
and like they have the resources, like they could just reach out to the graduates, pay them, you know,
Oh yeah.
pay them like $500 to come in and talk for an hour. A lot of people would do that.
Yes. If they call me up, I'd be like, yep,
Yeah,
right there.
I mean they can afford to give a person to talk like $1,000 or $2,000 to come in and talk for an hour. Like a lot of people would probably do it for free just to help out their college. You know, I mean, seems obvious, but maybe Berkeley, I don't know. Maybe they don't care.
Maybe, like honestly, yeah.
Maybe they're just swimming in the cash and they just don't give a shit.
They are. They certainly are. That's for sure.
It's expensive school.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
So we've been going for about an hour. So I think that's probably good. So I guess like for, you know, we'll spend some time doing like a Q&A type of thing. So if everyone wants to drop in some questions, this will be like the post-interview Q&A section where we all just hang out. Not that we're not already hanging out. Yeah, feel free to drop your questions in. And I'm going to start reading some of the stuff we missed. I believe every person, even fans, friends, or fam, can teach you something. You get better and better. Yeah.
That's so true.
That is so true. That's why I bring on people who, like, it's not like everyone I talk to is like this like superstar person in these calls. Like I talk to people from a lot of different levels on purpose because like
yeah, it's all so relevant. Like I mean, I'm sure your viewers are all at different levels too, so it totally would make sense.
Right. Yeah, and like I've talked to people who have hundreds of thousands of fans and monthly listeners. I've talked to people who they're around like my size, talked to people who have less, and you know, sometimes the people who have the biggest audience don't have that much to teach. And sometimes people with the smaller ones have a lot to teach because they're in the thick of it.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
It's very thick.
It's very
here.
Yeah. There's a lot. Like when you were, did you ever anticipate like how much work you'd be doing that wasn't directly music related?
No, like it is so hard to juggle all the things. So there's.
I was like, what is that? A cat? Okay.
It's my animal.
It's like there's an alien on your shoulders. Jeez.
Hi. No, yeah, I didn't realize that it was gonna turn into like just being this like internet personality as well. But didn't know, especially because I came from or when I started doing this, I spent so much time on like storytelling, lyrics. Like that was the most important thing for me. And I wrote all my songs on piano and just like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I was so much more just like focused. I was only focused on making the music, and. Yeah. It was like very therapeutic for me, very helpful mentally, and now you know it can be that way when I'm in sort of that like time warp producing kind of like I'm in it, and you know it's the time is just going, but a lot of times I feel as though I'm still thinking about like okay, well you know after this I have to do this, and after this I have to do that, and like you're like 5 steps ahead when you're just making the music. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like there's this separation that I have now that I just simply did not have before because I wasn't thinking about any of this other stuff. So I don't know. It's
yeah. I when I make music, there's like 2 categories of music for me. One is music that I'm intending to release. The other one is music that's just for like fun, and it's like a different experience. Like
absolutely, I think that's so important to do. I do that as well.
Like I'll open up Ableton.
Sit down and like.
Yeah, I'll, like open up your music software and just like I'll like start writing a song, and then at the end I'll just like close the file without saving it, just so it's like gone forever.
Yeah.
Unless it's amazing, of course, then I'll But like it's fun to just go in there and be like I'm gonna make some crazy wacko shit that I would never normally make.
Yeah, like this is the mood I'm in today. This is how I feel.
Yeah.
And that's all it has to be.
All right, we got some comments. I'm just trying to find the starting point. What was your
Okay.
favorite? Or wait, no. What is? Wait, hold on. Where do you find new music? What? That's an interesting question. I asked earlier, but I'm curious. Where do you find new music? Where do you find new music?
A lot of times I find new music on Discover Weekly. Yeah, that's pretty much how it happens.
I find it Discover Weekly and the playlist that Spotify gives me, like your daily mix, and they make you other ones. I forget. Like, well, then when you're scrolling your homepage, they tell you like you like this, so you'll probably like this, and I'll check it out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they kind of like separate. They're like, oh, if you're listening to X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
then yeah. So yeah, mostly because I use Spotify, so it's that's pretty much how I figure it out. Or unless I find, if I come across someone cool on like Instagram or TikTok or something, and I'm like, oh, like I really like what they're talking about. I relate to this. I'm gonna check out their stuff. That's happened too.
Yeah. There was one artist that I think it was Starset that I loved them. I found them from a Facebook ad they were running.
No.
They were doing Facebook like conversion ads for their album like years ago, and I clicked it, and then I loved it. And that was the only time I found an artist from that. And also, like, a lot of people ask me, like, do you ever find music from playlists or like I there's playlists that I follow for a genre, and I'll find artists I love in there too. And I found artists on TikTok or social media too. Just scrolling hashtags or whatever.
Yeah, and that's why kind of like this the posting sort of stuff like all over the place, having a YouTube, having the Instagram, having the TikTok. It's good to just kind of be just present on these places because you just never know who's gonna check out the stuff.
What is a good way to approach someone for a collab? From Mike Tech Shooter.
Ooh, that's a good question. It was really hard for me to approach people at first, actually. But now if I'm genuinely like, I have to like be 100% on it, and like in my head, just like, all right, I don't just shoot out and like ask a bunch of people to collaborate. I know a lot of people do that. But I
collab, bro.
Yeah, collab, just collab ?
Yeah.
But I'll like send out like an email with a capital E or like a DM with a capital D, like, just like I'll be like, hey, I've been listening to your stuff for a long time. I've been a big fan. I love what you're doing, and if you'd ever want to work together on something, like I would absolutely love to work on a project with you. And I've only sent very few of those out ever.
Yeah.
But I would like to do more. I don't know. It's hard to like be like.
Yeah, it's hard to find the right person in the first place too. Like, it's rare that you'll see something online and be like, oh wow, like I really like what they're doing. I'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I've gotten to do it a lot, like for this channel and this type of videos. Like, I hit you up via email for this.
Yeah.
So like, and the way that I do this is similar to what I do for music collabs, which I've only done a couple times because I'm kind of picky with who I'm gonna work with. But I do it similarly for music. I'll hit someone up, be like, hey man, I found you on this thing, and I really liked it, and I make music, and like, here's all my things. You can go check it out if you like what I'm doing. Maybe we can work together, and it'll be fun. But let's like hop on the phone and have a chat, and then see maybe how we can work together. And for this, I sent you an email that's like, hey, I found your channel. I saw you do this. I looked down your social media and you're doing this. I think it'd be really cool to have a chat. And I'd say, like, if you're trying to collaborate with someone that's like bigger, try to point out the value that you might be able to bring to the table. Because some people are annoying and they're like, look for clout. Like, oh, you don't have enough monthly listeners for us to work together. It's just like,
has someone said that to you before?
Not to me. Someone told me last week that like they were, that they've had that happen before. Like they were talking with someone making music with them, but they wouldn't release with them because they didn't have enough stats online. And I've heard a few other people say the same thing. Like they'll get rejected for various reasons. And I think the way you get around that, like, is just, I don't know. One, if the person's doing that, they're a jerk, and you probably don't want to work with them anyways. Or it could be the fact that they're on a label and the label controls that if they're way bigger.
Right, yeah.
But if you have something to bring to the table, like, if you're a fantastic singer, like, make it known, like, hey, I'm a pretty damn good vocalist. I think you'll like what I'm doing. I can record all my stuff. I'm super easy to work with. I'm down to make this as smooth as possible. No pressure on your end to do this.
Right. Like the no pressure kind of,
yeah.
have it be very chill.
And if you're on the other end, you can throw your clout around. You can say, like, I have this many monthly listeners and followers. I have this many subscribers. Use it if you have it. But if you're on the other end of it, see what you can offer them. So it's
exactly. Yeah, but yeah, and it is so helpful to collaborate. Like, definitely do it. Just send the message. You have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
If you get rejected, it's like, okay, well, that's fine. And you never know if, like, maybe in the future it's just not the time right now. But
especially on social media or email, like, the rejection is like zero pressure. It's not like in person where if you get rejected, it's like you feel all ashamed or whatever. It's like, it's like, whatever, I'll just ignore that ever happened. I've definitely gotten plenty of people say no to me for whatever reason,
Yeah. And it's just, and it doesn't really, it just doesn't align. That's okay.
Where did I leave off? Repost Exchange is good to find new music if you're interested in curating your own playlist. I've used Repost Exchange once, but it was way back. Have you ever used that?
No. Oh my gosh, I'm so behind on these comments. So where
and then Yum Barbecue links. What was your favorite genre/band in high school? That's a very specific question.
Oh my gosh, what my favorite genre and band? High school? I don't know. I was listening to, like, Taking Back Sunday. No, wait, high school? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You were a little emo kid?
Yes. I loved System of a Down. I still listen to all this shit though.
Nice.
So,
I like them. I love System of a Down back in the day too. Who else?
So good. Hypnotize, that album is like literally so freaking good.
Yeah.
I like being in my car listening to it now. At that time it was a lot of, like, The Used and
oh yeah, The Used. Where the candy?
Death Cab.
Death Cab for Cutie. I never liked Death Cab as much. I was a huge fan of The Used.
I listen to it now and I'm kind of like, ooh.
And then Warped Tour was great back then. I don't know if you ever went to Warped Tour back in the day. I didn't
ever do that.
Awesome. I'm so sad it's gone forever.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Oh, someone asked inspiration for Become the Root. That's really old. Sorry that I. Okay, so Become the Root is my first album, and that was definitely just inspired by making, like, a soundtrack, basically. Like, I wanted it to be, like, I thought of it as a very cinematic sort of, like, I want it to be, like, avant pop and, like, industrial and electronic, but also very cinematic. So it was very sonically inspired, and all those songs were really old too at that point. Like, by the time I released it, some of those songs were 2 to 3 years old. So yeah, mostly.
What about the artwork for it?
Oh, yeah. So this
looks pretty cray.
Yeah, this amazing artist, you should all check her out. Her name's Natalie Shao. Her last name is Shau. And if you're into, like, really crazy, I that was a commission. So I was like, I want, like, an armored, like, cyber angel. And I was just like I just want it to be like this sci-fi, like, crazy, ethereal, but almost, I don't know, like a statue. I just had, like, I just threw so many, like, kind of things at her, and she just made the perfect piece for it. And that was, I think it just, like, the idea of the album is, remembering who you are, coming back to the root or whatever. So I just felt like the way she described, like, the roots kind of pulling you down, yet you have wings. Like, you have this ability to kind of go up and do what you need to do, but still remembering that there's this grounding thing happening at the same time, basically. So,
That's really cool.
yeah.
I'm glad that you actually had like a genuine answer for that, and it wasn't just like, I like the phrase "become the root." You know, it's like you actually have a story behind the artwork and the name of it and the music and stuff. That's cool.
Thanks.
How many shows do you do in a year?
No, I like barely do any shows.
You're doing one soon, right?
Okay, so if I'm counting those as shows, like, yeah, so this year I kind of got back into playing acoustically. So the show that's coming up on the 21st is at a brewery. So essentially, you know what I'm like background music. Okay, so it's like not
Right. Yeah.
I'm not like up front being like, hey everybody. So I'm playing the piano and singing. So I've done quite a few of those this past year.
Yeah.
Or 2021 or whatever. Especially because, I don't know, in Massachusetts, it's a lot more accessible to do that sort of thing, I think, than in New York. I don't know, my time living in New York, it was just harder to get, I don't know, have someone read your email. So those have been pretty good here. But in terms of, you know, really doing a full blown out show, I don't have any planned. But I just feel like that's such an overwhelming thing that I really need to think, like really parse through and like make right. And I also want to release an album before I even start thinking about that.
So what kind of venues in the area have you played? I mean, I don't know if anyone here is from Massachusetts would know them, but
like the breweries?
No. Out of like the main shows you counted, that you actually do count as like regular shows.
So, I barely played any here. I played the Great Scott when it was still, I don't know if it's even still open. I think that might have closed down. I played, is it Mercury? No, Mercury Lounge. I played that, but that's in New York. I played mostly in New York when I lived there.
Okay.
So a lot of very small venues in New York and Brooklyn, Manhattan. But I moved to New York right after college. So while I was in college, I played this very small venues around Boston. And like, I don't know, Cafe 939, which was like a Berkeley thing. But then I moved all over the place. Moved to Austin, and that was like pandemic, and we weren't playing shows or anything. So, yeah. Do you ever play out?
I did when I was like in high school, and like a little bit after that. But I'm like 100% online, and I don't know if I even want to go out and play shows at all. Like I just have such memories of when I was 16, 17, 18, doing like and they weren't like big. I mean, like I did a lot of the smaller types of venues, and the local fair I used to play at every year, and then the battle of the bands and stuff. But I was in high school, and I just remember there's so much work. And I always loved the studio stuff more. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I feel you. That's why, I feel like if I were to book one, I would just have to go all out. Like, it would just be, like, a very intense thing. That I'm juggling so freaking much right now that I just don't know if it might just be a while. I want to release some new music before I even think about creating another set of visuals and like doing the whole thing. So
I feel you.
Yeah.
What has your experience been trying to book your own shows? Well, I guess you kind of talked about that already. Well, you said in New York
it was... breweries, you just send out an email. I'm just like, hey, you know, I'm in the area, and I send them my links. So I show them my Spotify. I make sure to show them videos that have a lot of views, like of my performances and stuff, that are all on my older channel. And I just say like, this is what I offer. And then they luckily I've been pretty lucky, and they'll be like, okay, what's your rate? And then I'm like, okay, you know, here we go. And I, you know, give them my rate, and then it's just usually like, okay, you're booked. I feel like because I live in a suburb of Massachusetts, you know, it's very, I think, a little easier to get booked when I'm not like,
you're not
competing. I've played at breweries in Boston.
at the best artists in the world who go to New York and LA, and
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's like if you're really talented in Massachusetts, you might stand out more than if you're really talented in LA.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, booking in Boston has been quite easy compared to when I was trying to book shows in New York, for sure.
But I know someone who lives near New York. He plays a lot of shows there, and a couple times he's like emailed me like, "Hey man, I'm gonna be in playing a show in Boston if you want to come by." And so he drives to Boston to play shows sometimes too, even though he's in New York. So a lot of people who are considering moving somewhere to do shows, maybe it's not the best thing in the world.
Not the best thing?
Yeah, I mean,
so,
like it's like, especially now with COVID, like, does it make sense to live in New York or LA or Nashville?
No, absolutely not. In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's why I moved out of New York. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Your rent was probably insane.
Well, it wasn't, because I got so lucky, and I lived with like way too many. It wasn't lucky. More like I just made decisions in which I had like a million roommates. I had 7 roommates at one point.
Whoa.
And at that point I was paying like $750 for that many roommates, in cheap rent.
Yeah.
And then other times I lived in Sunset Park. I was paying like $650. Like I just got really, I guess, also pretty lucky. But I chose. Yeah. I wasn't in like Manhattan. I was in like dingy parts of Brooklyn. So.
Yeah.
Which is still cool.
Saz Master A, where to find info on pay per stream on Spotify? You kind of can't, but like it's basically a third of a penny. It's like 0.003 cents per stream to 0.004 cents per stream.
Yep.
Eric Jr., it goes without saying, links, but your music is generally incredible, and it's really nice seeing how down to earth you are, all about struggling a bit to try to figure it out every day. Thanks for the insight in this conversation, guys. Genuinely.
Oh. Is it? Oh.
Well, thanks, Eric.
That's so kind.
Oh man, the comments just jumped. So cool. The used box of sharps August. Yeah, someone linked the art. Sounds dope. Love acoustic. That's the go. Yeah, I live in Miami. Getting booked at even the smallest venue feels like a mission. Yeah. I would imagine Miami, it's probably competitive as hell. Cool, guys. Well, I think we're gonna call it here. So thanks everyone for hanging out. This stream was actually pretty solid. We got 37 in hanging out right now. So thanks for showing up.
Cool. I should have like posted like, hey guys.
Well, when the actual video goes live, I'll send it to you so you can.
Okay, I'll just check it out.
And everyone go check out links everywhere. LLYNKS, right? LLYNKS. On her link, if you look in the title of this video, it's like the @links thing you can click on. It'll take you to her channel. Got great music on Spotify. Got a great TikTok you should go follow. And anything else you want to plug?
Yeah. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm finally using my Twitter now. If you want
nice.
Silly tweet. And YouTube for sure. Thank you, Andrew, so much for having me on here.